Put on your hard hat and buckle up that tool belt. It's time for some heavy-duty conversation about all things Tampa Bay. Welcome to Tommy's Toolbox, the podcast, Season 2. I'm Tommy Whitehead, the CEO and founder of TomCo Solutions, where we're not just construction and financial experts, but passionate advocates for our thriving community here in Tampa, Florida. As a construction pro and a proud Tampa Bay resident, I'm excited to shine a spotlight on our region. Whether you're a longtime resident or considering a move to Tampa Bay, get ready to uncover some hidden gems and fascinating insights about our beloved hometown. Sitting with me today at the drafting table is Nicholas Kodati, Vice President of Star Mountain Capital. Star Mountain is a specialized asset management firm and has been consistently recognized as one of the best places to work by both Crain's Business and Pension and Investments magazine. Today we'll be talking about Nick's experience in the financial industry, his firm's distinct philosophy and focus on well-being, and his strong involvement in the Tampa Bay community. Welcome, Nick. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Tommy. I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. You know, Star Mountain recently located an office or opened an office here, and to actually get somebody from your office to come by and talk to us is incredible. So thank you.
Happy to be here, Tommy. Thanks so much.
Awesome. So, Nick, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you originally from, if not from Tampa?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, thanks so much for having me. I'm Nicholas Kodati. I'm a vice president here at Star Mountain Capital. I grew up in California, actually.
Really?
And I graduated high school in Seattle. I went to New York University for college, and then back in 2021, I had the opportunity to help my firm launch its Florida office. And so that's how I ended up here in Tampa. And it's been a great run so far.
So you went from one coast to the other coast. You just skipped the whole center.
Skipped the whole center. That's, I would say of all the places I've lived so far, Tampa is really the place where I want to lay my foundation, build my career, build my family, and stay for the long term.
That's incredible, and I'm hearing that more and more. People do love this because it's a hodgepodge of Florida, but it's not quite Florida. It's got influences from everywhere. And then people like you that have been all over the country coming here and bringing your own culture, that's pretty cool. So we're excited to have you here. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about your work experience and maybe a little bit more about your current role at Star Mountain Capital?
Absolutely. So I had joined my firm in the summer after my sophomore year of college. I was 19 years old at the time, believe it or not. And my entree into the firm was, at that time, we were a relatively young firm, only $200 million in assets under management. And so at that time, we were really building out a lot of the technology infrastructure that would eventually support our firm's deal flow pipeline and capital flow pipeline. And so my initial role was actually as a technology intern supporting our CRM development and database development customization so that it would be better adapted to the needs of our investment firm. And over time, I eventually transitioned into business development, product development, and investor relations roles. And I've also had my hand in recruiting, staffing, and talent development for both our junior team and our year-round internship program. And over the last handful of years or so, I've been primarily focused on portfolio management and origination and underwriting of new investments, and it's been a great run so far. And then as we transitioned to the Florida office, I was part of the founding team, if you will, for our Florida office, and so that's come with it a new set of responsibilities as it relates to being an ambassador, a brand ambassador for our firm in this new community where we hope to be for the long term.
So you started as an intern, and now you're a vice president. That's quite a few steps up. How long did that take you?
I'm in my 9th year at the firm.
Wow, that is a true success story.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's not a typical run, though, for somebody, is it? You don't typically see interns go to vice president in less than a decade. So that's amazing. Any tips there on how you got to that position? Just hard work or learning extra steps, or tell us the secrets.
Yeah, I think work ethic and luck, the combination of those factors is really just a baseline for anybody who makes it, far in their careers. And I'm sure you'd say the same, Tommy, with respect to your entrepreneurship journey. If I could give a few pieces of advice for young people entering the financial services industry or the investment business more specifically, I think it's 3 factors that have distinguished my tenure. One is development of written and verbal communication skills. And that comes from, one, reading a lot, especially focusing the types of reading you're doing in the domain that you're focused on. So I would ask college students, how much time have you really spent studying the great investment literature over the years? And how much time do you spend on YouTube watching music videos as opposed to watching interviews with Fortune executives and how they communicate, how they respond to questions, how they amplify and make more dynamic their voice through intonation, diction, pausing, tonality, and being able to adopt elements of those communication styles to improve your own gravitas and executive presence could be a big difference maker, particularly in today's generation where so many people from the managerial group of folks have perhaps criticized younger people being in a Twitter era of not having the appropriate communication skills or something having been locked in terms of relationship skills or communication skills from a generation prior. So written and verbal communication skills would be the first thing. And then secondly, I would say organizational skills, the use of checklists and spreadsheet tools, time management tools, energy management tools to give your colleagues the impression and the conviction that you're somebody who can be relied upon. One, to know the process. Two, to anticipate the process. And three, to have a clear view of all the tasks and subtasks necessary for getting a deliverable done on time and ahead of budget, as we like to say in the construction industry, right? So the organizational skills is really important for giving your colleagues a confidence in you to promote you from a junior level person into a mid-level or managerial level person. Third, I would say, is this idea of loyalty, which is a really peculiar concept, especially today with my generation tending to be with a firm for no longer than 1 or 2 or 3 years on average. But I think if you are fortunate enough earlier in your career to identify a talented group of people that you like to work with, that you respect, that have momentum, the value in staying there, being loyal, continuing to build your internal and external networks, continuing to build your ability to represent the brand in market, and the value that you can have, particularly in an entrepreneurial or founder-owned business, where you can cultivate a relationship with the founder and the senior professionals at the firm, and their willingness to invest in your professional development could be a big difference maker relative to them seeing you as a temporary resource.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Those are all great points. Especially love when you talk about, hey, don't just scroll on YouTube. Actually take some time to read something or even listen to things. About a year ago, I decided that I wanted to pick up on more business books. I wanted to see what other people were doing. And I'm 26 or 30 books down in the last year, just by putting them on the car because I'm in the car so frequently, or on a plane or something, and I'll listen to them. And it has really helped focus what I'm trying to accomplish and seeing what other people have done. And it's not just one person say, do something and it'll work. It's 15, 20 people, and they frequently say, this is how you should do it. But if you have 15 people saying the same thing, then maybe there's some validity to that. So that's really cool, and it doesn't take a lot of time. It really doesn't. You can throw a book on. You can put it on your headphones when you're working out, when you're driving into work, that kind of stuff. That time where you can just listen. So that's amazing. Actually, listening to all those books actually motivated me to write my own book, Building Success. The Toolbox is coming out on top, and I feel like I was able to communicate what I felt and where I was at in life and my entrepreneurial journey through that. And it was really empowering. So I definitely agree with you on that, learning the communication styles from other people. And then that helps you perfect your own. And I wouldn't have been an author without that experience of reading so much. So that was pretty cool. Do you have a favorite book that you might recommend? You're supposed to say Building Success. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading Building Success when it comes out, certainly. If I could recommend one audiobook that I've really enjoyed and find myself listening to over and over again, it's actually How to Get and Stay Motivated by Grant Cardone.
Oh, nice.
And it's a 70-minute audiobook, and the number of tactics that are described in that book as it relates to all sorts of dimensions of your life, from drinking enough water each day to trying something new every day or meeting a new person every day. I always get a kick out of listening to that book, and it gets me fired up in the morning.
That's really cool. I'll have to add that to my list. And, only 70 minutes, that could be just a commute sometimes down here. Especially if there's a lightning game going on, right? You gotta get home. So you've been in this firm since you were in college, and now you're the vice president or vice president in the company. So tell us what drives you? What's your favorite part of the day, kind of gets you out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, I maybe thinking a little bit more medium term or long term first. I think about my ultimate goal professionally is to realize my professional potential. And that's a little bit ambiguous at the surface, but I think about it through the lens of Star Mountain Capital as a platform and a vehicle. I'm blessed to have been part of a firm that's grown 20 to 100% every year that I've been at the firm. And so being on that rocket ship and being influential or contributive towards the momentum of that firm and helping it to realize its potential. Today, I would say that we're one of the leading firms in lower middle market investing. And I believe that if we continue our current rate of growth, we could become one of the leading firms in alternative investing, generally speaking. And so realizing the potential of this firm and its growth, and of course, it starts with delivering investment results for clients, and then through that vehicle, realizing my own personal potential, that's the broad overarching goal. And then speaking more tactically about what I enjoy on a day-to-day basis, again, I've been blessed to be part of a firm where my colleagues are actually my friends. And I think the loyalty aspect of it, me having been here nearly a decade and so many other people in my firm being in their mid-20s or late 20s, having started themselves in our internship program while in college, means that I have several colleagues of mine who are approximately my age who I have over half a decade of tenure with. Mm-hmm. And that's a rare dynamic, particularly in the financial services industry. And so going to work each day and greeting my colleagues in the morning and us working hard together, pushing together, spending time outside of the office together, playing basketball, celebrating each other's birthdays, knowing each other's significant others, it creates a friendship dynamic that makes it really hard for us to leave one another, first of all, and second, gives us the momentum and stickiness, if you will, to want to be together for the long term. And it's fun to go to work and see your friends every day, and that's worth something.
That's incredible. And, we all should know that corporate culture is a real thing, and it's very valuable because you want to be happy where you're going in. And so many people go to work, and they're not happy when they're doing it. But to hear even in a financial firm, which, you deal in higher stakes and more stressful situations than some companies deal with, and that you have that kind of culture that people are staying for more than 3 years. And you're right, the average length of stay in employment in most industries is about 3 years now. And so to see that people are going past that and that culture, it must really speak to Star Mountain and their growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the distinguishing aspects of our firm that I would consider to be innovative on Wall Street, if you will, is that our founder has instilled a culture of health orientation across the firm, health and wellness. And it starts with our North Star, which is, one, we're in an investment business where we have a fiduciary responsibility to our investors. And as a part of being a fiduciary, that means that we're, one, in the results business, and two, we're in the judgment business. And so with that as our North Star, our CEO and founder has been really focused on making sure that people are aware of the benefits of exercising every day, the benefits of getting a full night of sleep every night. And so that does a couple of things for us. One is obviously the benefits of the endorphins and the fitness provides us stamina for our day-to-day lives and gives us a feeling of happiness, right? That we're not sacrificing work-life balance, compromising our health by working in this investment firm, but also it gives us the durability that we need to maintain our careers, maintain our position in the firm for a long time. And in the investment business, where wealth is ultimately compounded over time, that durability is such an essential feature to us being happy in the firm and being happy on a day-to-day basis and enjoying one another's company.
That's absolutely incredible. So tell me, Nick, what is the most exciting new project you've heard about in the Tampa Bay area, whether it's like a new development or a new business?
I would say that the Water Street residential complex downtown is something that's been very exciting for me. And so what the property developers have created is a live, work, play ecosystem that's green forward, green certified, and it's highly walkable. And it's so urban and so metropolitan. And what it reminds me of is Hudson Yards in New York City.
Okay.
And when I see the restaurants in Water Street and the boutique fitness classes, it reminds me of some of my favorite restaurants and workout places in New York City. And what I think this is going to create is an attraction magnet for high-income, highly skilled, talented people from other markets to see Tampa, enjoy the weather, the world-class beaches, Tampa Bay sports, etc., but then find an urban environment that reminds them about the best aspects of what they enjoyed about life in Chicago, life in New York City, life in Miami or Los Angeles. And so I'm excited for the business executives and entrepreneurs that are going to be attracted to Tampa, partially on the foundation of Water Street. And eventually, over time, that's going to create investment opportunities for us, hopefully, to be backing these talented executives and entrepreneurs. And I'm also equally excited for the personal friendships that are going to emerge from being around, working around, and living around these highly talented people.
I think you touched on it, and it's great. It's bringing pieces of a big city to a smaller city feel. So you get all the good parts while leaving some of the bad parts, the decay, the congestion. Some of that is not there in Tampa. But you get the feel. You can get good food. You can see good entertainment. You know, the Strat Center, I think it's working on expansion. The Tampa Museum of Art's doing a $100 million expansion. And these are all very close areas, some walkable, some not, but they're within minutes of that. And then they're working on public transportation downtown too to extend the trolley car line. So down at Water Street, you should be able to get close to the trolley car, get on, and then ride it up to the museum at some point in the near future. So I'm glad you touched on that. And they've even recently talked about a new development down Ybor Harbor.
Wow!
And so it's an expansion of existing developments down there, and I think it is going to bring a lot more of those young professionals to the Tampa Bay area. We're constantly seeing us show up in the top 10 lists of places to live, of people moving, of best destinations to visit, and year over year, we're popping up on those lists, and I think that's contributing to the success of these developments because people want to be here. So that's neat that you're in it. You're literally living it, the downtown lifestyle here in Tampa. And 20 years ago, there was no downtown lifestyle. This was people left after work and went home, and it was a ghost town all weekend. So now there's not a weekend I can go downtown Tampa and not see something going on. So that's pretty incredible to hear your firsthand perspectives on that. Can you share any upcoming initiatives or projects that Star Mountain Capital is excited about?
Coming up, it's actually timely you asked that question, Tommy. Here we are in late April, and about a month from now, we're going to be starting our summer internship program.
Okay.
And like we spoke about earlier, I'm a graduate of our internship program.
A very successful graduate of that program.
Thank you, Tommy. What I'm so excited about this program is, one, we're identifying future mountaineers and the future leadership of our firm through this program, but also I think that some of our full-time team members benefit as much from the interns as they learn on the job, because we feed off their energy, enthusiasm, optimism, and I'm personally excited to share with them this opportunity here we have at Star Mountain to, one, be meeting and investing great entrepreneurs and executives in building their businesses, and then we combine that with a patriotic mission of investing in the growth engine of America, and I'm excited to share that opportunity with them.
That's amazing. And how would people find out opportunities, these internship opportunities? How would they find out about those?
People can learn about our internship program through our website or on LinkedIn.
Okay, that's amazing. We mentioned Star Mountain was one of the best places to work. Apparently, you've won some awards in that category. Can you tell us how you balance your personal and professional life and that importance of that balance in the industry? You talked about it a little bit before, but how's it affected you personally to work at a firm that respects you outside of the office, not just in the office?
It's a good question, Tommy. I think starting with the premise that the investment business is, especially in the private capital segment of the market, it's about patience and investing for the long term. And so I call this private equity trigonometry, where if the assets are going to be multi-year assets, the investors are investing with us in 10-year investment funds, and the assets are going to be with us for several years, it only makes sense for the talent duration to match the capital duration and the asset duration. And so with starting with that premise that it only makes sense for all three of those components of the triangle to be with one another for 10 years to make the ecosystem work, I think it's super important that you've conditioned your body to have the stamina to actually survive a long time, because it can certainly be intense at periods when you're negotiating a tough transaction or you're on the road for several days away from your family at an origination conference, or you're going through a challenging time in fundraising where you need to continue to stay motivated and stay on path, stay focused. Having a meditation practice outside of work and in an exercise practice, I also try and cross-train a bunch of different types of group fitness. For example, boot camp workouts. I really enjoy hot yoga. I've started getting into Pilates more recently. And so seeing new people, meeting new people through these group fitness workouts, as well as a mindfulness and meditation practice, is giving me a lot of the energy and stamina that I need to make it for the long term, I hope.
That's pretty cool. Not just hitting the gym and pressing the barbells, but actually doing other things about agility and flexibility, and that helps with stress. I'm sure it does.
Totally.
That's awesome. So, Nick, can you give me a name of a person or business that's thriving in the Tampa Bay area right now? We love to call out small businesses and highlight some Tampa gems.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking, Tommy. I would say I'd like to celebrate our portfolio company, Uncle John's Pride.
Okay.
Which is a sausage manufacturer here in the 1970s. And you wouldn't normally think that a protein business or a sausage manufacturer is necessarily in a high-growth industry. But I would say that the executives who are managing this business, we recruited Bill Mayer recently to be our platform CEO. He's based in Tampa. Mm-hmm. Rick Bernaldo, a University of Tampa alum, is our chief operating officer, and Jay Dunkel is our chief financial officer. All three are based here in Tampa. They have done such a good job in growing and sustaining the performance of this business after our investment in them that we've looked for more dynamic ways to help them continue to grow their business. For example, we recently financed their acquisition of a Texas-based protein manufacturer, and we've got a robust pipeline of other acquisitions that we're looking at with them. And it all comes down to their impressive command of the operating metrics in the business, how much what their facility utilization looks like, making sure that they're getting the right outputs in production on a per-hour basis, and those sort of things that are giving us the conviction and ultimately the revenue and earnings profile to continue justifying continued investment in supporting their growth. So I'm excited to continue supporting Uncle John's Pride for the long term.
That's amazing. Nobody ever wants to see the sausage made, and you found the guys that know the best way to make it.
Yes, yes. They do a great job.
That's incredible. Maybe I can get a tour one day, see what's going on over there.
Absolutely.
Nick, you were recently named a member of the University of Tampa Board of Counselors. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just like Tampa, UT has grown rapidly in the last few years. Are there any exciting projects or initiatives that you're aware of that you'd like to highlight with UT?
Yeah, there's a couple things. First of all, I would like to celebrate and commend President Ronald Vaughn and First Lady Renee Vaughn for their contributions to the university over the last 2 to 3 decades. They've been so inspirational for so many members of the Tampa Bay business and philanthropic and educational communities that it would be hard to put into words the magnitude of their contributions over the decades. And then secondly, their impact on the university has dramatically improved University of Tampa's profile, its prestige, the caliber of students that we're able to attract, not just from Tampa and Florida, but across the nation. And the type of DNA that we're importing into Tampa on the strength of University of Tampa's brand, we owe a lot of that to the Vaughn's leadership. So I would first of all commend the Vaughns for all they've contributed and the leadership legacy that they leave behind. And then secondly, I'd call out that the university has recently launched a Sales Excellence Institute. And as we know from entrepreneurship and investing, sales is what makes the world go round.
Absolutely.
Right? And so giving the students the tools to understand prospecting, funnel management, objections, and solutions-oriented sales approaches that are not salesy just to get the next dollar of revenue, but ultimately solving a problem for the customer that's ultimately going to inure to the benefit of our whole commercial ecosystem here in Tampa and Florida and beyond.
That's incredible that right here in Tampa, at the University of Tampa, actually minutes from where we're recording, that they have the foresight to see these are tools in the industry that we weren't necessarily taught in college.
Right.
And now in the workforce, we are having to learn them on our own or through other people, books, reading, meeting, all that to overcome those objections, to learn how to solve client problems. Now they're putting it into a curriculum and providing a very immediately useful skill set for right when you get out of college. That's incredible. That is forward thinking. It makes me think if I go to University of Tampa, my education is immediately going to start to pay off versus stepping out and trying to learn a whole new skill set immediately. So that's pretty cool. I recently had the opportunity to go to the UT Fellows Forum, and the multitude of people there, the experience in the room was incredible. Listening to multiple CEOs, getting to personally go meet and greet and chat with them. All the other the UT fellows that were around, it's just an incredible group of professionals. So again, congratulations on being named to the Board of Counselors. That's an incredible accomplishment.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about a particularly challenging or rewarding experience from your career that you are proud of?
Absolutely. I would say that one achievement that I'm most proud of here at Star Mountain is helping to launch our firm's small business investment fund. We call it an SBIC fund. And what we have done is basically we have applied for a license from the United States Small Business Administration to provide us financial leverage that is non-callable, fixed cost, low rate, some of the highest quality liabilities that you can have in terms of financial leverage. On the premise of the U.S. Small Business Administration's motive for Star Mountain and other SBIC managers to channel that capital towards growing the small businesses in the country, to promote employment, to promote small business growth, and as we like to say here at Star Mountain, investing in the growth engine of America. And so, again, combining that patriotic mission of investing in the growth engine of America, plus this vehicle being the sort of entity that eventually gave us critical scale in the life of our investment company that allowed us to, in turn, hire a larger team and further institutionalize our asset management firm, has been a terrific experience to have been a part of. And I think a very limited number of people at my age, or certainly at my age at that time, had that sort of experience to help launch a regulated investment fund like that.
Wow. And there aren't a lot of those, are there? Is this something that's newer?
There is a few dozen of them
Okay.
operating. The Small Business Administration, this SBIC program, has been around since 1958.
Okay.
So it's certainly not a new concept, but the requirements for licensure are it's at a high standard. There's a stringent set of requirements to become qualified for the government. Ultimately, we're benefiting from taxpayer money to channel this capital towards worthy small businesses, and so the bar is high.
Wow, and you got to be a piece of that. And like you said, at your age or at the age at the time, at any age, it's impressive. But to have that opportunity, it's got to be overwhelmingly gratifying to be a part of something so big like that.
Absolutely, it was totally empowering.
Nick, I talk a lot about building relationships and networking here on the show, specifically here in Tampa. Are there any clubs or organizations or places that you like to be to channel and develop your network?
Yeah, absolutely. A couple come to mind immediately. One is the Tampa Club that you and I are both a part of, Tommy. I believe that's how we met originally.
It is.
And so that's at the top of the Bank of America Tower downtown. And it's a great place, wonderful views for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and brunches. And they've got holiday celebrations and stuff for the kids. I think on Halloween one year, they brought a literal penguin to the Tampa Club for the kids to play
I was there for that. I saw the penguin. It was so cool.
So the Tampa Club is certainly one avenue to meet a lot of high-caliber professionals in town. And then secondly is the Tampa Bay Chamber is another group. And if you're a young professional looking to get involved in the Tampa Bay Chamber, there is an emerging leaders subsegment of the chamber for people 21 to 35 getting their start in the community and looking for ways to get more involved, get more networked with other emerging young professionals that I would highly recommend as another avenue.
I love that. I love those development groups. They're things that were in limited supply or not around necessarily when I was a little younger. And now that we're really recognizing all this young talent around us, and those emerging programs, they're commendable because they're giving them connections and resources to perfect themselves at an even earlier age. And they're an incubator for professionals that are going to go on to help your firm, my firm, other firms. And it's all public resources doing that, or private resources, but in a public mechanism doing that. And I absolutely think that those are amazing programs that we have here in Tampa. You're not in this alone if you go and ask for help from somebody. And I always say that. You don't have to be an expert at everything. So I do encourage the audience to check out the Emerging Leader Program. If you fit in that demographic, awesome. And if you don't, they're going to need support, because it's not just about being in that program. It's about helping us helping the younger generation coming up, because they're going to be running the world one day. So that's pretty neat that you would mention that. Nick, can you tell me what the craziest story you've heard of in your industry or the construction industry? Or if you don't have a crazy story, maybe a funny joke?
Yeah, so some of the craziest stories are just not publicly viewable for the audience. So what I would recommend for your listeners, if you want to get a hold of some crazy stories, is if you know investment professionals or development professionals who are in the process of regularly doing due diligence and they need to perform background checks on other folks, I would recommend you ask the background check providers the craziest story they've ever seen. And it will be shocking and everything you're looking for.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my reading list.
But I've got a joke for you too, Tom.
Okay, I would love it.
Okay.
Let's go.
How do people react when they meet a lousy electrician?
How?
They're usually shocked.
I love it. I love my dad jokes. They're great.
Yes.
Thanks for a job well done, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us for Tommy's Toolbox, the podcast. If you have any questions about my company, TomCo Solutions, the construction industry, or real estate investing in Tampa, please be in touch or visit TomCoSolutions.com. My contact information is in the episode description, and I'll put Nick's there as well. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, thank you again. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the construction site for the next episode of Tommy's Toolbox, the podcast. Have a great day, everyone. Hi, everybody. Tommy Whitehead here. Have you heard about my book, Building Success, A Toolbox to Coming Out on Top? It's already been on the Amazon best-selling list. So scan that QR code on your screen or go to Amazon or any major retailer to get your copy today. I can't wait to hear what you think. So leave a comment below or leave a review with your thoughts.